All right, welcome back to Central Valley Buzz, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Now, I always tell you guys that I'm the luckiest man in Fresno. I get to sit next to the best people in Fresno every single day. Today, my Valentine is the best person in Fresno. She's the mayor. Let's bring in Ashley Swearengin. Ashley, hi, how are you?
Good to be here.
Thank you for coming. You know, I've been wanting you to come on for a long time. I know you're super busy, and to take the time out to come for my Valentine's Day show, I'm just super stoked about it.
I'm happy to be here.
So, I don't know if people have told you, but man, I really love you. I'm probably the only person that comes on television all the time and just says, I love what Ashley's doing with Fresno.
Thank you.
I've been a big supporter of yours.
And it's true, you are the only one.
Well,
thank you.
Truly, I feel like I'm the most local show in Fresno. I don't work for a network, and I'm able to say what I mean, and I really mean it when I say I love what you've done here.
Oh, thank you.
That
means a lot to me.
I don't think that you've had an easy go. I think coming on as mayor in 2008, when the bottom was falling out of the whole country, it was tough. And I know a lot of people blamed you for things that were completely out of your control, and people have gotten nasty about it and mean about it. And I've stood up for you the whole way. In fact, I've lost friends over it.
Oh,
that's how people
saddening.
get too serious about some things. But since this is our first time sitting down, I just kind of wanted to just ask you some things like, gosh, how did you become mayor? I mean, where did you grow up?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say I am so thrilled to be on Central Valley Talk. This is, as you said, the only truly local show, local music every day. You know, great opportunity to put Fresno's best foot forward. So thank you for doing what you're doing every day. So
you've made it easier for me.
Thank you. Well, so I moved to Fresno in 1987, and I was in high school at the time, and I'm from the Midwest. So when my family, my immediate family, moved out to California, it was definitely a foreign land to me.
Culture shock?
Little culture shock. I was raised in Arkansas, born in Texas, and spent a little bit of time in Colorado, and then found myself in California.
Sometimes I think I hear an accent coming out of there.
That is true. If I talk to relatives from that part of the country or anybody else, then it comes back very quickly. But I ended up here in 1987 and really fell in love with the freedom and the creativity and the innovation that is the West Coast and is California. And then Fresno is like this perfect little spot, as you know, the high quality of life, a very easy quality of life with all the amenities of California. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going to Fresno State on scholarship, and that really rooted me here in this area.
What did you take in college?
Business.
Okay.
Yeah, got
because you don't take business classes because you want to be mayor.
Oh, I had no interest in politics at all. I always fashioned myself as just private sector person who wanted to work and have a family and help pay the bills, and that's kind of what I envisioned life would be, what my parents and my grandparents modeled. And my parents both went to college, but they were the first people in their families to go to college, and there was a very high value placed on doing well in school and knowing that was really the key to having a career path and flexibility to raise a family. And politics were nowhere on my radar. I will say, though, kind of just because I wanted some cool letterhead, I interned for Governor Pete Wilson the summer after my junior year in college, and actually walked away from that experience thinking there's no way I want to be involved in politics. I saw the advance team for the governor, who would do this for any sitting governor, come to town and pay so much attention to which direction the fringe was hanging on a flag for a photo shoot. And I thought, is this what you have to worry about when you're a high-ranking government official? It seemed like very unimportant and disinteresting to me. So I completely went towards the private sector. But like you, just the more I was here, I developed such a love for this place and really knew that Fresno was a diamond in the rough. And I think when you're not from this place, you recognize its value a lot easier and more than people who are here.
It's funny you say that. I came from a big city and moved here.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is a diamond in the rough. And I saw it in a little bit differently. Like this could be so much more with just a little bit.
Right.
Just little tweaks here and there.
Yeah. So I think people who have that perspective, whether from a big city or any other part of the country, you come here. I hear this all the time. People who move to this area particularly from outside of California, but even inside California as well. And they spend a few months on the ground, and they're just sold, and they love this place. And so my husband, who has a very similar story to mine, not from this part of the country, but we ended up meeting here in 1993. He was a sportscaster on a local TV station, and he had the same perspective. He moved 18 different times from kindergarten through his senior year in high school. So he had seen all different parts of the country and really recognized the value of Fresno. So we really committed our lives to this place in our earliest years together.
So how does it go to, I don't want to be in politics, to, hey, I want to be mayor?
Well, it went a little something like this. So, I'm oriented towards wanting a career in the private sector, and I'm very committed to Fresno. Paul and I get married in 1994. He's still working in TV, and I'm working for a couple different local businesses in marketing. And I start volunteering for some of the local civic business organizations, and I just start learning more and more about Fresno. And since my original professional love is healthy businesses growing in the right way, in an honorable way, just because they're better and they compete harder and they beat their competition without cheating. So I think that's so exciting, and I love that. So I'm looking for various career opportunities and private businesses in the area, and at the same time I'm volunteering for the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm learning things like Fresno has chronic double-digit unemployment. And I'm hearing these statistics rolled out in, business lunches and that sort of thing, and I'm noticing that people who were from Fresno just kind of took it in stride, like, oh yeah, that's just the way it is here.
Right.
We're an agricultural economy, and that's the price we pay, and so, no big deal, move on, next agenda item. So I started just out of sheer curiosity and love for healthy private sector sorts of growth, started digging into the numbers a little bit and learned that even during seasons of peak agricultural production, we still had chronic double-digit unemployment. So I'm thinking, maybe 2 or 3 generations ago that was explained by the cyclical nature of agriculture, but it doesn't seem to be the true today. So I just got more and more involved as a volunteer in things related to growing businesses and helping people get jobs. Had a couple times in my life, as a kid when my dad lost his job, and I know how terrifying that can be for families. And considering there are tens of thousands of people who are in that boat in our community even today, that really gripped me. So I got involved with volunteer efforts. Then I was recruited to go work for a nonprofit business incubator, the Central Valley Business Incubator. I was the first staff director there, and that was when my passion for our community as well as private sector job growth married up, and I was in a job where I got to help startup companies create jobs, which then benefited the community, and from there it really just ultimately turned into running for mayor.
Did you have that aha moment when, hey, wait a minute, I can be the mayor?
The process started in, I think it was in December of 2005. And I remember actually the month before, in November, just thinking to myself, it really kind of stinks to have a huge burden for a city. And at that time I'm in economic development working at Fresno State. I had moved there after working at the incubator. And, we were developing regional economic development plans and making some progress in getting the public sector to work together with the private sector in order to grow jobs, get people into those jobs. We were having some success, but there was a lot of frustration that sort of the local government agencies didn't seem to be very responsive to the ideas we were coming up with. And so I remember thinking, it really stinks to have a burden for a place and have no ability to really get anything done, right? And I could spend the next 40 years on the sidelines coming up with all kinds of terrific plans, but if they don't ever get implemented, then I'm going to die not seeing the kind of success I want to see for this community. So I was having that feeling like, just sort of impatience. In December of 2005, I happened to be at a meeting where then Mayor Alan Autry was, and it was the Partnership for the San Joaquin Valley. We were having a lunch break. I went over to talk to him about actually another project I was involved with, a homeless shelter. And in that conversation, he said to me, you need to be the next mayor of Fresno. And I about fell out of my chair. So that was late 2005. I then spent like 2006 evaluating, having never been involved in politics, never worked on a campaign, no name recognition in town. Is this for real or not? So I did that sort of through 2006. And by early 2007, I remember talking again with Mayor Autry and saying, I think I'm willing to do it if nobody else good runs. If somebody else gets in there who I believe could do the job better, or, has the same type of agenda as I would have, then terrific. It doesn't need to be me. I just want to make sure this agenda moves forward. And Mayor Autry said to me, okay, call me when you're in, because you're not cut out to be mayor unless you have a fire in the belly and you know that you are the one who's supposed to do it. So until you get all the way committed, you're not really serious. And so I said, okay, that's good advice. I don't feel like I'm there yet. But by early 2007, I was in.
Did that kind of set a fire in you when Alan said that to you?
No, I think it just it startled me a little bit, because I thought I was being very rational and and respectful of really anybody who was the right person to lead the city. I was willing to line up in support of that person, and and I just didn't consider that. No, you have to be in. So there were all kinds of rumors swirling about who might run, who wouldn't run, that sort of thing. And actually, our police chief, Jerry Dyer, was in the race, was considering running, right. And it was when he got in, and he, as you know, phenomenal leader, loved the guy, incredible police chief, and if he decided he wanted to be mayor, at the time, I'm thinking, heck, he would be incredible, right?
Right.
But when he got in, I said to myself, no, I'm supposed to be the next mayor, and I don't care who's in. If it's a giant, leader like Jerry Dyer, or if it's some other, other names were swirling around, Chuck Leonard, Jim Cost, I'm going to do it. I don't care what happens. That's when I knew I was in. When the giant showed up, and I was thinking, no, I'm still in it.
And you weren't going anywhere.
So then it all became very real, and ultimately launched my campaign in November of 2007.
And crushed your opponent.
Was a process,
yeah.
But ended up winning pretty well in November of 2008.
Time magazine last week had a pretty good article about Fresno, didn't they?
It did, thankfully.
Top 5 in the country recovering from a recession.
I'll tell you what a roller coaster, because in August of 2013, Time magazine did a whole spread on cities most likely to go bankrupt.
Right.
And Fresno was one of 6 cities. The big balloon jumping off the map, Fresno, California. And of course, we knew by 2013 we were making it through, but so their news hadn't quite caught up to our reality
right.
yet. But to go from there in 2013 to last month, reporting on this Brookings Institution report that we actually led the nation in job creation in 2014.
That's amazing.
Is awesome.
That's got to
awesome
feel good,
news.
huh?
You know what? It does, and I also know that we have to post similar results year after year after year for us to really be where we all hope to be. But you can't do it 2 or 3, 4, 5 times if you don't do it the first time.
Right.
So we're certainly celebrating that.
Awesome. You mentioned earlier that about being in business, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, running the city's like running a business,
Very much so.
And a lot of people are super upset about the Fulton Mall. And I understand. Okay, that's a business too, and if the business isn't working, it's got to change.
Right.
So, is the Fulton corridor? Do you believe in it that much?
I do.
I know I do.
It is. I mean, it's you do all the analysis and very much respect the people who are on the other side of the issue. But really, there are 2 groups who are on the other side of the issue. One group, which is the much larger group, that would say, we don't support this project because we don't care about downtown.
Right.
We'll never go south of Herndon.
Right.
And we don't know why you would spend money on something that seems to be so far gone, even though it's federal grant and state grant money. We don't think you should say yes to those dollars because there's no hope for that part of the city. So there's that group. Then there's another group, smaller in number, but very passionate about the fact that they love the landscape architecture, they love the physical space that is Fulton Mall, and they don't want to see changes to it. I respect the passion they have, and at least we're on the same page in wanting to see a vibrant downtown. We just disagree on the best path to get there. Over time, our job has been, and I think we've had some success at this, especially judging the crowd. On February 27th of last year, we had probably 400 or 500 people in the council chambers, most of them saying move forward with this project. But I think for Fresno's future, my bigger concern is about the people who don't know yet why a downtown matters for every property owner, every resident, every parent of school-age children. Like, the quality and health of our inner city totally determines the quality and the health of the outer rings of the city. They're not going to fully believe it until they see some success. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just basically asking the public, give me a long enough leash to make some wise decisions. I'm not using general fund money. I'm not compromising service levels in any other part of the city. But if we can orchestrate it through other resources, give us permission to get this project done and start to prove that, in fact, development is following that decision, and it already is. And over time, those results will speak volumes to people who today, they don't believe that a downtown is ever going to work in Fresno.
And I truly believe that when it's ready, we're going to get some of those businesses that some of those people want to see in Fresno.
No doubt. In fact, we're already seeing literally millions of dollars have changed hands in real estate transactions just since last February when the council made a decision. And part of my argument to the council and to the public was, for 50 years we've debated, 40 years for sure. 50 years ago the mall was put in, and some historians will tell you that within 5 years the decline began. For sure 10 years later, so let's say 40 years ago, and ever since then we've been arguing about the future of this corridor. So to me, 40 years is long enough to debate something, and it was time for a tiebreaker. Either commit to leaving it in and restore it, of course the dollars have to be found to do that, or make a change and create some traffic and some access to these historic buildings. So what I kept telling the council is we're just not going to be indecisive any longer. We're going to make a commitment, make a decision, and move forward, regardless of what the outcome is.
Awesome. I'm sure Mr. Swearengin's already showered you with gifts today for Valentine's Day.
So Valentine's Day is tomorrow, right?
Right. So I got the jump on him.
Although he thought it was today. So when I woke up this morning, I did have a really very sweet card that was, he put out for me so he could surprise me first thing in the morning. And I said, oh, this is so great, but Valentine's Day's tomorrow. It's like, oh, then I got to go get another card.
Well, you know what? Cards are great, Ashley. You know what's better? Chocolate and flowers.
There
just
you go.
Right now, we've had a lot of local businesses that got involved, and they wanted to show their love for you also.
Oh,
and
wow.
let's just get started. Are you ready?
I'm overwhelmed.
Okay. This right here is from Privé de Salon, and we have for you a spa day.
That is
right there.
Wow.
We also have
that is the gift that keeps on giving.
Flower and gifts. Look at this beautiful arrangement for you.
That is gorgeous.
Right there.
All the way from Fowler. Very beautiful.
This is some chocolates right here for you.
Hey, wow.
We have a teddy bear that asks you to please be mine.
Oh my!
Okay.
Yep, Paul is definitely, there's a hole now that he's going to have to dig out.
Okay, well, Paul might be able to help you out with these. These are from Das Cookie Jar.
Goodness.
There's some cookies for you.
From Visalia. This is
this.
awesome. Regional gift giving.
And this
Okay.
cake here, look at this. That is a beautiful cake for you.
And who did this cake? Let's show the audience here. This is gorgeous.
Okay. Then we got
absolutely
more
beautiful.
flowers for you right here. Look at this
I should have brought a moving van.
Chocolates and posies. And we have you some balloons right here because those are just so safe to drive with in the car. And we have, look, some more roses for you right here.
Oh my goodness. I have been showered.
Okay.
I've been showered, Chuck, with gifts.
We have lunch for you from Zen Wok Fusion. Right
Delicious.
here, that's
delicious
coconut shrimp. And also, check this out. This is really cool. This is a local handmade zine.
Wow.
And it's about M. Theo Kearney.
Oh, that is fantastic.
It's made by my beautiful and talented wife, Kim Burley.
Kim,
and she
yes.
wanted you to have this.
Oh,
She
my
sells
goodness.
these all over the world.
Oh, my gosh.
People are really into it.
I
And
love
there's a
it.
button to go with it right
That
there.
is incredible. Wow.
Pretty nice, right?
Very nice. I think this is a record-setting gift experience for me. I really think you've gone above and beyond. Thank you so much.
Well, after all those gifts, there's only one more thing I have to ask. Billy?
A funny
May I have this dance, Mayor?
sweet comic Valentine. You make me smile
Swearengen, everybody.
with my heart.
Great to be right back on the bus. Stay around.
Your looks are laughable.